Hi, this is Rochelle with Live in Vibrancy. And if you are creating what you want, it may be that you're trying to create from something new from who it is you are right now. Meaning, you're trying to manifest new life experiences from the same level of consciousness that created your current life experiences. And so trying to create something new from old consciousness is going to leave you feeling like you're stuck in the mud, just spinning your wheels and not really getting anywhere. And so on a practical level, what does this look like? Well, a great deal of who you believe you are things that you inherited. So for example, they're things that you were told that you were. And so you're conditioned into these labels as an identity, basically. And your life is a reflection of not only your identity, but what you think and feel about yourself, what you think and feel about others, and what you think and feel about the world, and then what you believe is possible. And so all of these things create these like invisible mental structures that work sort of like a thermostat. They determine how far you go in any direction, right? So a thermostat. So for example, I live in Alberta, Canada, and the weather right now, it's actually not terrible, but I like it a lot warmer. So my in-home thermostat is set at a comfortable level. Sometimes here it can drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius. It was just a few weeks ago that it did. And so when it did, the temperature in my home began to drop, but the thermostat measures the environment and then turns up the heat. So that the temperature it might drop a little, but then it's raised. In the summer, if I have air conditioning, which I don't, but that's because I like the heat, it would do the same. When the temperature would rise, the air conditioner would kick on, and so the temperature might rise a little, but it wouldn't really deviate from the main temperature I had set. Now, your sense of self, your identity, what you believe about the world, this creates an invisible structure for you of what you believe is possible. And so, if you are trying to create something that is out of alignment with your current identity and model of reality, because those two are intertwined, they're interconnected, then you are often going to find yourself feeling frustrated, struggling. Because as Einstein pointed out, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. And consciousness is fundamental. Now, I understand the disconnect because we're conditioned into doing things to get a certain result, right? These rules that we're raised with. If you go to school, you'll make a good living. If you work hard, you'll be successful. If you do everything right, you'll have a good life. Well, I know university graduates that don't make a good living, and for a period of time, I was one. I know lots of people that work hard and still are not successful the way they want to be. And I know plenty of people who did everything right and they are struggling or have struggled at certain points. So it's got to make you wonder if these rules are actually rules, then why don't they work for everyone? Because shouldn't a rule apply across the board? But these don't. And so no matter what it is that you're creating in your life, if it was really about what you just needed to do, then all these things would work for everyone. But they don't. And so if you catch yourself wondering or asking, what can I do to create what I want? Then I want you to notice that might be one of your biggest blocks, because it's not about what you do. It's actually about managing the energy behind the doing, because the energy behind everything you do reflects your subconscious identity. It reflects your intention, and sometimes we like to trick ourselves at the conscious level of what our intention is when really we have another intention. And so this is where it's important to check in. like with yourself. This is why I always say, it's not outside you, it's inside you. Because you may be doing something, telling yourself it's for one reason when you actually have another motive, which is out of alignment with this external reason, this conscious reason. So your reality will always reflect who it is that you believe that you are and what you believe is possible at the subconscious level. Because the subconscious runs 95% of your life. And sadly, your subconscious is often set by your negative experiences in life, because it's also part of your survival mechanism. And so it's going to operate to move you away from pain and move you towards pleasure. And sometimes being able to hold who you are through uncomfortable circumstances is what's necessary in order to create what it is that you want in your life. So avoiding the negative in favor of the positive is not necessarily in your favor. In fact, it often is what's sabotaging you from creating what it is that you want. So if you want to know what your limiting beliefs are, or what your subconscious identity is, just take a look around at your life. So the ego will project fear onto the unknown, but you want to ask yourself, which identity is telling these fear stories? And then what identity is buying into them and then just throwing in the towel? Consciousness is fundamental, and so your life is a reflection of your current consciousness. But you don't actually have to be held back by your limited stories. This is essentially what it means to up-level your consciousness, to shift to a new level of consciousness. It means not buying into the stories of why it's not going to work. And so if you're stuck, the reason is that you're trying to manifest a different reality as the same person. So I'm going to give you some examples on a practical level of what I mean by this. So when you're working from your current consciousness to create a new reality, you are coming from, when I have XYZ, I will do ABC, and then I will be LMNOP. So what this looks like more tangibly is, for example, when I have the career that I want, I will do what it takes, and then I will feel successful. When I have the relationship I dream of, I will feel, or I will be more confident, and I will feel loved and valued. And so those are really not how you manifest something new. That's everything in reverse. It's actually not even how you manifested what you have right now. It's a backwards process. Because whether you're manifesting consciously or unconsciously, that part is not really relevant to anything other than you determining the result. The process is always be, do, have. Be is always primary. It's always who you have been that has created what you have. And so when we want to manifest from when I have X, Y, Z, I will do A, B, C, and then I will LMNOP. That is have, do, be. And so some people might mix it around and try do, have, be. And so what that looks like is I will do a technique to have the thing I'm manifesting so I can be the person who is experiencing. Now that can be effective, but only when you are doing the technique to be the person who has it, and then, right, to be the person who has it. Sorry. I should have made a chart. Next video. So this is rarely successful because it's focused on doing things, but you're doing things from the same identity. You are still in that consciousness box that created the reality that you have now. you're just kicking the walls. So because you don't manifest what you are, because you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are at the subconscious level, it means already being it. And you are being whatever it is you're currently creating at the subconscious level. So if you want something new, you have to become something new at the subconscious level. And this is essentially how you manifest quickly and easily, right? It is be, do, have. So what this looks like is I will feel confident, right? I will feel free. I will feel secure or whatever. Then I will take the actions I need to in order to create the wealth I desire. Now, if we take that little construct and we clip it onto an example, it would be, I could go to university and graduate at the top of my class. But when I graduate, if I am not being the person who feels confident to get the job, and who believes in themselves and who is essentially being the person who the job is right for or is perfect for the job, then I am unlikely to get the job because I am being someone who doubts themselves, who has beliefs about reality that might determine what I'm willing to go for, what I'm willing to ask for. And so then I may end up working a job that is not even anything related to the degree that I pursued. So for example, using one from the beginning of the video, right? So I will feel loved, confident, etc. I will be loving and vibrant to manifest the relationship that I want. Remember that emotions are the language of the subconscious. There is a reason they say feeling is the secret. So I want you to consider the thoughts and feelings that you're entertaining in your life right now. Are they fostering success or are they fostering reasons not to succeed? Because that, if you are not succeeding, it is that level of consciousness that is creating your current experience. And so then compare that to how you would be thinking and feeling as the version of you who is experiencing the life that you want. And I understand bridging this gap on an emotional level doesn't always feel easy, but it's absolutely possible. You have to decide that it's possible for yourself and then decide to bet on yourself. In addition, you could really ask yourself, and whether this aligns with your belief systems or not, that's something you might want to question if you find resistance to this. But really take a moment and ask yourself, what would be possible in my life if I believed at my core that I was more than just flesh and bones? That I was actually the energy that animates my physical being. What would be possible for me if I truly believed that I was an infinite being? And not only do I say that because that then takes you out of a limited box, mentally constructed box. I can never talk in these videos. But also, one of the number one, reasons that people struggle is because they tell me, well, I'm just too logical to believe that. So then I want to ask you, is that a sense of self that you really want to hang on to? Which are you more committed? Creating what it is you want in your life, or holding on to a limited identity? Because you're committed to one or the other, and you decide which one it is you're committed to. So energy and perceptions are first. Then you're aligned. And then comes action, and then receiving. Every creation has action at some level. The issue is many people are using the action, not recognizing that yes, the action is important, but action out of alignment is going to get out of alignment results. And all creation is really only limited by your imagination, your willingness to bet on yourself and commit to your end result, to be committed, and your willingness not to be bound by the flesh and your perceptions of what is. Because if you really ponder that, and notice any resistance that might be coming up to this, but if you really ponder that, and you connect that to the question that I asked, you might see the lid pop open on something that might be holding you back. So to be what it is that you desire, right? And to simply let go of all the ways that you stop yourself from having what it is that you want. And some of the ways that you stop yourself are your attachment to things that may or may not serve you. They may serve you in some areas, and they definitely don't serve you in others. And so I want you to ponder this, and until next time, live like you can't fail.